The old pocket watch felt heavy in my hands, its golden surface dulled with age. It was the last thing my grandfather had given me before he passed away just a month ago. "Keep it safe, Emma," he had whispered from his hospital bed. "There's more to it than meets the eye." I never imagined those would be his final words to me, or that they would change my life forever. "Is that all he left you?" My mother-in-law, Barbara, cut through my memories with her shrill voice. She examined the watch with poorly disguised disgust. "After all those years you spent caring for him?" I pulled the watch back protectively. It was his favorite possession. We were gathered in my living room. My husband, Tom, his mother Barbara, and his sister Kate. They had insisted on coming after the funeral, supposedly to support me. But I knew better. They had been circling like vultures ever since Grandpa George got sick. Barbara sniffed, adjusting her designer handbag. "Well, I suppose we couldn't expect much from a retired high school teacher. Not everyone can be successful like our family." I bit my tongue. Their family had money, something they never let me forget. Tom's father had left them a comfortable inheritance, which Barbara stretched by living in Tom's childhood home and constantly demanding more from her children. "Mom's right," Kate chimed in, examining her manicured nails. "I mean, you spent every weekend with him for 5 years, missed all our vacations, and all you got was an old watch?" "I didn't do it for an inheritance," I said quietly. "I loved him. He was my only family after my parents died." "Oh, sweetie." Barbara patted my hand condescendingly. "That's because you're simple. You don't understand how the real world works. Right, Tom?" I looked at my husband expectantly, hoping for once he'd defend me. Instead, he shifted uncomfortably. Maybe you should sell the watch, Emma. We could use the money for that kitchen remodel Mom's been suggesting." "Absolutely not." I clutched the watch tighter. "It's not for sale." Barbara's eyes narrowed. "Now listen here, you ungrateful girl. You married into this family. Everything you have is because of us. That shabby little bookstore of yours would have failed years ago if Tom hadn't invested in it." "My money," I corrected coldly. "From my second job teaching night classes. Tom never invested a penny." "How dare you?" Barbara's face reddened as she stood. "After everything we've done for you? Tom, are you going to let her talk to me like this?" Tom rose too, his weak chin trembling. "Emma, give me the watch. Mom's right, we should sell it. You're being selfish." I backed away, tears stinging my eyes. "No. This is mine. Grandpa gave it to me." "That senile old man probably didn't even know what he was doing," Barbara spat. "Tom, take it from her." Everything unfolded in slow motion. Tom lunged at me. I twisted away, but Kate stuck out her foot, tripping me. The watch slipped from my hands. Barbara caught it with a triumphant smile. "Finally. Let's see what this precious treasure is really worth." She turned it roughly in her hands, her long nails scratching the surface. "Probably not even real gold. Just like everything else in your family, fake and worthless." The doorbell rang. A tall man in an expensive suit stood at the door, holding a leather briefcase. "Mrs. Emma Chin? I'm James Morrison, your grandfather's attorney. May I come in?" Barbara immediately switched on her society smile. "Oh, we were just having a family discussion. Dear George's watch, such a meaningful gift." Mr. Morrison's eyes locked onto the watch in her hands. "Indeed. A very meaningful gift. Would you mind returning it to its rightful owner?" "Of course," Barbara said sweetly, though she handed it back to me reluctantly. "Good." Mr. Morrison sat down, opening his briefcase. "Because that watch is quite literally the key to your grandfather's legacy." The room fell silent. "You see," he continued, "George Chin wasn't just a high school teacher. He was also a brilliant investor who built a substantial fortune over 50 years. Very few people knew about his wealth. He preferred to live simply and give generously to education charities." My hands trembled as I held the watch. "The watch," Mr. Morrison explained, "contains coordinates to a safety deposit box. Your grandfather asked me to wait 1 month after his death before revealing this, to see how people would react to what appeared to be a modest inheritance." He turned to face my in-laws, his expression hardening. He wanted to know who would value his granddaughter's love and loyalty over material possessions. Barbara's face had gone pale. How substantial are we talking about?" "The estate is valued at approximately $68 million. Kate's wine glass shattered on the floor. Silence filled the room. 68 million. The number hung in the air like a physical weight. Barbara recovered first, her shock twisting into a sugary sweet smile. Emma darling, you know we were just teasing earlier. Family jokes. We're all so happy for you. Let me finish, Mr. Morrison interrupted, pulling out more documents. The estate includes conditions. First, the safety deposit box coordinates are encoded in the watch's mechanism. Any damage to the watch would have made the fortune inaccessible. Barbara turned green, remembering how roughly she had handled it. Second, he continued, Mr. Chin installed cameras in this house 3 months ago, with Emma's permission. Every interaction, every comment, every attempt to bully or manipulate her has been recorded. Tom jumped to his feet. You spied on us? No, I said quietly. Grandpa was protecting me. He knew what was coming. Mr. Morrison nodded. And finally, Emma has full control over how to distribute the inheritance. She can share it with family members, but only those who showed genuine care and respect before the revelation. Kate burst into tears. But that's not fair, we're family. Are we? I stood up, finally finding strength. In my grandfather's posthumous support, let's review the last few years, shall we? I turned to Barbara. You called my grandfather a senile old fool at Christmas dinner when he gave you a handmade scarf instead of an expensive gift. I was joking, she protested weakly. You told Tom to divorce me last year because my poor family connections were embarrassing. I was just looking out for my son's future. I shifted my gaze to Kate. You deliberately excluded me from your wedding because you didn't want common people in your photos. Finally, I turned to Tom, my voice breaking slightly. And you never once stood up for me. Not once in 7 years of marriage. Mr. Morrison cleared his throat. There's one more thing. He handed me another envelope. The results of the private investigation Mr. Chin ordered 6 months ago. My hands shook as I opened it. Inside were photos, dozens of them. Tom with another woman. Expensive restaurants. Hotel receipts. A secret apartment. 3 years, I whispered. You've been cheating for 3 years. Tom fell back into his chair, face ashen. Emma, I can explain. Save it. I slipped off my wedding ring. I want a divorce. Now let's not be hasty, Barbara interjected. We can work this out. Think of the family. I am, I replied. I'm thinking of the family who actually loved me. Who taught me that character matters more than money. Who set up this whole test, knowing exactly what it would reveal. Mr. Morrison smiled. Shall I proceed with the distribution plans we discussed, Emma? I nodded. Yes. The Educational Foundation in Grandpa's name. Scholarships for underprivileged students. And the community center renovation. What about us? Kate demanded. You get exactly what you gave me, nothing. Barbara launched into a tirade about family loyalty and gratitude, but her words were cut short by security guards entering the room. These gentlemen will escort you out, Mr. Morrison announced. The restraining orders are already filed. Any attempts at contact will result in the release of all recorded evidence of harassment and manipulation to the media. As they were led away, Barbara turned back one last time. You'll regret this. You're nothing without our family name. I held up the watch, smiling. Actually, I'm Emma Chin. And my grandfather taught me that true wealth isn't in a bank account. It's in knowing who you really are and standing up for what's right. 1 year later, the Chin Educational Foundation was thriving. Hundreds of students who couldn't afford college were finally getting their chance. The community center offered free classes, job training, and support services. I sold the bookstore and opened a larger one, with a special section dedicated to education and self-improvement. Sometimes I'd catch glimpses of my former in-laws in their luxury cars, driving past slowly, watching the success they could have been part of. Tom married his mistress. They lived in a small apartment after Barbara lost most of their money in bad investments. Kate's social media was full of bitter complaints about having to work a real job for the first time in her life. As for me, I wore Grandpa's watch every day. Not for the fortune it unlocked, but for the wisdom it represented. Sometimes the most valuable inheritance isn't money. It's the courage to stand up for yourself, and the wisdom to know who truly deserves a place in your life. On quiet evenings, I'd sit in my study looking at old photos of Grandpa George. You saw it all coming, didn't you? I'd whisper. You knew the money would show their true colors. And in the silence I could almost hear his reply. Money doesn't change people, Emma. It just reveals who they've been all along. The watch ticked softly on my wrist, keeping perfect time, just as Grandpa had planned.